Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, September 26th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started shortly. So just give me a few moments to finish setting this up. And then once everything's good to go, we'll get started with our analysis for this morning to kick off the trading week. So a couple things here to update. Let's see. Good with that right there. There, looks like good. All right, solid. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And then we can get started shortly. So just give me a few moments right here. It's good. It's good. All right. So it looks like we're good to go. All right, so as people make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the zones over here. Right there. Right there, one right there. The ones that overlap, I'll update them as I come back to them shortly. So let me just get these right here. And once you get everything marked up, I'll come back to the bigger zones. All right, so I think there's just one zone there that is a little bigger. It'll be this one right here. All right, solid. So let's see who's here so far. Morning, Professor. Morning, Peter. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. So happy Monday, everyone. Today is Monday, September 26th. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Market looks like it's starting to move pretty heavy as we exit the summer season. It's now starting to be officially fall. I mean, fall officially started on the 22nd, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, or if not the 28th, I can't remember the date, but whatever the case may be, we are entering fall here, so the volatility is picking up. So let's take a look at the overall bias to confirm, where everything is sitting. So looking over here at sentiment is really heavy today. It's 70% long, indicating that 70% of retail traders are currently buying right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and sell. So with regards to long-term bias with retail sentiment, we're definitely looking for sells today. Secondly, looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down 78 points right now. So they're not necessarily below 100, but they do go in line with the overall bias of the retail sentiment. So with that said, we're probably going to be looking for sells today, since retail sentiment is currently 70% long and the fundamentals here are nearly 100 points. Short-term bias right now is currently bullish. As you guys can see, the trend meter down here is currently green, and the price is above the pivots, with the pivots angling up and green pivot over red. So with that said, short-term bias is currently bullish right now, but I do expect price to come back down. So what I'll be looking for is I'll be looking for price to swing back to the downside. I won't necessarily be looking for buys today because the long-term bias is so strong for a sell. So if we get any buys here, I'll probably look at them, identify them, show them to you guys, but I won't necessarily be looking to take them because long-term, I do expect price to come down pretty heavily. Other than that, let's see who else is here. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Peter. Morning, Marco. Morning, Fahad. Morning, Surin. Morning, Jamie. Morning, everybody. Thanks, Peter. I know there's a lot of news this week, so let's take a look at the calendar today. So for today, we have news at 7 o'clock. We have Fed member Collins speaking. This is definitely going to affect the market. That's probably why price was propped up this morning, because price has been pushing up. And then when Collins speak over here at 7 o'clock, price is probably going to come swing right back down due to the fact that the Fed typically speaks about inflation, the recession, and what's going to be done in order to rectify, all of the issues that are soon to come. So we'll see how that plays out. But we'll just take it. We'll take it candle by candle, see what we can get into here. So other than that, you guys can see here the trend meter is starting to turn blue. So that's going to indicate that the shift is starting right now from bullish bias to bearish bias on the short term. Long term is bearish already, so we're expecting this to come down anyways. No surprise there. And we'll see where the market goes as we open up in the next 4 minutes. So other than that, I think we pretty much looked at everything to analyze the charts for this morning. The rest of the week, we have some more news. Tomorrow, we have CB consumer confidence, new home sales, Richard manufacturing index. Wednesday, we have Fed member Bullard speaking, Fed Chair Powell speaking, pending home sales, crude oil inventories, Fed member Bowman speaking. It seems like every day there's a Fed member speaking. So last week was Fed week, and this is just continuation. So I guess it's like 2 weeks in a month now because we're going to a recession. Previously, Fed week was just once a week, but now it seems like it's twice a week, especially that we're entering into the fall, because every day this week there's a Fed member speaking. There's a ton of news going on the entire week. So we could expect some high volatility in the market. My guess is that price is going to be crashing back down further because of the obvious reasons. We're going to a recession. People keep trying to deny it, but it's getting worse as time goes on, right? So it seems like now we have Fed members speaking twice a week. Yesterday was last week was a Fed meeting. This whole week, there's a Fed member speaking every single day at 7 o'clock. So, this could be a good thing. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing because it might cause some manipulation in the market, but it could be a good thing because if we catch these trades while the volatility is pushing around, then, that could be beneficial for us because we can just get in and out of these trades really quickly before the market starts to move kind of funky. So, all right, with that said, guys, market is opening in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. When the market opens, we'll be looking for possible sells here. As you guys can see, price is starting to swing back down. What we're looking for is for the trend meter down here to turn red, right? If you look at how price is moving during London, price pretty much dropped all throughout London. From this point up until 3 o'clock, price started swinging back up, and then now it looks like it's going to correct right back down in the direction of a bearish bias. So I'm expecting price to continue dropping. I'll be looking for sells here. Other than that, we look good, guys. So here is the markups from last week on the 4-hour. Price is still around the down area right here. So let's use that as a long-term confluence, but we're looking for the trend meter down here to turn red. Market is opening in about 30 seconds, guys. We can't take any trades here until the trend meter turns red, but we could probably expect that to turn red, in the next couple moments or so. Hey, David, morning. All right, guys, market is opening shortly. Let's get a few moments, and then we'll see where we'll take these trades. If we do look for sells, though, main area to look for is going to be this sessions right here. This is going to be the target price point, the Asia low down here. So if price does drop, that's where we're expecting price to reach. All right, so price is now dropping here. If we get a moderate red candle, this can possibly be an entry for a candle's too big. So we can't take the trade here, guys. Unfortunately, candle's way too big. This would have been a good SR rejection, but no. Yeah, it's way too big. And if it retraces up to this point, the wick on bottom is going to be too big. So unfortunately, no entry right there. I'll be keeping an eye out for this, though. We're looking for a sell. Trend mirror is now red. Yeah, wick on the bottom is way too huge. So as you guys can see, market is moving pretty crazy right now. Not really much of a surprise. Today's Monday, so a lot of people are re-entering the market. Trend meter is now blue. Back to red. And it did not close there. All right, so no entry there. We got a pending zone up here, it looks like. Let me check the zones, make sure everything's good. Zones look fine. So here goes, price pushes back up. Completely fine if price pushes back up right here. But as I mentioned, I'm only looking for sells, guys. So I'm not really looking for any buys over here. Another thing that we got to keep an eye out for, guys, is for price to move directional, right? We got to make sure that it's not ranging or consolidating like it's been for the past couple of months for summer. We're looking for it to continue to move directional to confirm that we're actually entering the fall season, because there's no guaranteed date, guaranteed time when price is going to be shifting with the seasons. You just got to see how the market moves. All right, so the trend meter is back to green. I'm still not looking for buys though, guys. The bias here is too strong for me to look for buys, so I'm not really looking for any buys today at all. I mean, we'll see. If there's something that looks really good, then maybe, but for the most part, I'm definitely not looking for buys here because I'm expecting price to come back down. So it seems like we're still in a bit of a range here. As you guys can see, price is still not moving directional like we're anticipating it to. Opening price is right here. This is going to be the first target price for price to return to, back to open, right? Once it reaches this point, the sessions is going to be the next level. So as you guys can see, price is coming right back down. There's New York open right there. Price is starting to bounce back and forth. This is not necessarily what we want for our entries here, right? So what I'm going to go here is I'm going to go to the clean chart. I'm going to go and mark up the market structure real quick using the K2 high-low indicator to show you guys where price is going, right? Because you can't really see by looking at the naked chart like that, but if you guys turn on the zones and high lows here, you guys can really see that price is literally ranging right here, right? It's in a range right now. You can't really see it too much just by looking at the chart right here. You kind of think that price is going back and forth, but realistically it's going sideways, right? This here looks like it was just a fake out to the bottom. So realistically, price was actually ranging or is ranging through here. This here is just manipulation on open because this was the opening candle. And then price just pulled right back into the range right here. So this is why it's important that you guys use the K2 high-low indicator to draw market structure, because if you guys didn't draw this, you can't really see that price is going sideways here, right? You could kind of see it, but it's not as clear as it would be if you just drew the high lows here. Because if you have the high lows drawn up, you guys can see that now market structure has been created. And even though there's an illusion that price is going directional, realistically, it's just been ranging for the past 41 minutes. So it hasn't really gone anywhere. It's been ranging for the last 40 minutes. So just be patient here, guys. This is, this pretty much outlines everything. It shows you that the markets could be deceiving, because right here, it looks like price has been pushing up this whole time, right? It looks like it's been in a bullish push, which it has been. It's been in a bullish push, but you probably wouldn't have noticed that for the past hour it's been ranging. So now it's time to just be patient, wait for this to come back down. As you can see, price is starting to swing its way back down. Still hasn't confirmed yet. Trend meter down here is green. So even if it does swing back down, we won't have an entry to take just yet. Looks like there is a V3 right here. I'm not going to take the V3, but I'm just showing you guys that there is a V3 right here. So I'll keep hinting these other moves that are coming up right here, because as price does start to move directional, we can possibly start looking for, possible entries here. But I'm not going to take them. So this is a V3 here. The only reason I'm looking at the V3 here is because we're looking for sells, right? I'm not necessarily looking to enter anything right here, but you can see how it's still faking out. This is why I'm not taking these variations yet, because you can see price might come up, hit stop loss, and then come right back down. So until you're confirmed that, the market is moving directional, then you can take those variations. But at the moment, I'm still not looking to take any of these trades here. So let me just take this off real quick. I don't want you guys to think we're in that trade. Just wanted to give you guys a little markup to show you how the market is not necessarily moving as smoothly as we would want it to be at the moment. So let's see, Dell said it might turn into a buy. United Health is holding everything up. Let me go check the actual stock index over here real quick. So stock index is currently, it's right down the middle. It's not really heavy on the downside or heavy on the buy side. Breaking news from CNBC over here. It says Dow opens lower, Monday slumping. British pound adds to Dow opens lower Monday, a slumping British pound adds to market woes. So this news over here indicated that the Dow was dropping, right? So what typically happens when CNBC reports negative news, price typically goes up, which is a part of manipulation, right? So market opened over here. Let's see, this news event was released it was about an hour ago. So they released this about an hour ago, and you can see that about an hour ago, price did start to swing up. So this right here I see is temporary. This is why you got to be careful when you're looking at news here, because they did release that the Dow opens lower. So when people see this, they start to sell, right? Because they think that price is going to drop for the rest of the day. But right now, it's just manipulated to the upside. So this is temporary push to the upside, and I'm expecting it to come right back down. So just a matter of patience, guys. I'm just waiting for it to come back down. I don't think this is going to hold for very long. If anything, this is what might play out. This is the farthest I'll see it go, either to this session's right here, the London low, or the next session's right here, Asia high. This is the highest I see price going. Eventually, I see price coming right back down. Or, I mean, you can even bounce off this zone right here. So there's basically 3 different price points where I can see price targeting to reject off, which would be either this K2SR zone, the sessions, or the sessions right here. Otherwise, it can just drop right now. There's just too many scenarios right now, so it's not really an area where I expect it to really pull through officially. But what I'm looking for, the main thing is going to be the trend meter. Once I see the trend meter turn red and it stays consistent, then I'm expecting it to continue to drop. But there's not really much here to go off. Price is literally just ranging. So you can see right here another fake out. So basically price is ranging within this area. It faked out below here, swung right back up, faked out above here to trick some more buyers to enter the market. And then now it's coming right back down. So just a matter of patience here, waiting for this K2SR rejection to come up. See how far this push from here. Not too bad. All right. So with that said, let me go and update this. Range right there. All right, so price is, I mean, it's really just back into the same range it was in a few moments ago. And we'll see if it breaks below here for another attempt to drop. Here is our markup chart. What I'm looking for here is the trend meter turn green. It's currently turning blue right now, so you can see it's starting to shift. So it has turned blue right here. It's getting close to opening price. That's our target price that I mentioned. When price does come back down, target price point is going to be opening price right here. What I'm looking for is for the trend meter to turn red. Also, I'm looking for it to break below the opening price here because we can't take any trades around this area. It falls under red flag. Okay, so trend meter is now red. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to break below opening price, come up for the retest, and continuation. When I get that, then I'll look for the sell there. We have the Fed speaking here at 7. So we're not necessarily going to stop trading around 7. We're just going to be aware that the Fed is speaking. Yeah, Maddie said there was a pivot scalp entry right here. Or no, actually, no, there wasn't, Maddie. The trend meter didn't close red. One second. It's allergies. All right, so trend meter is back to green, guys. So as you guys can see, it's really just bouncing between this area. Yeah, Maddie said it flickered on red. No, I saw it as red too, Maddie. So I saw it as red earlier, but it didn't necessarily close. That's why I was kind of waiting for it to actually close and come below opening price. Here we are back at the markup or clean chart. As you guys can see on the clean chart, price is still within the range. It still hasn't gone anywhere. So it's just faking people out both ways. Let's take a look at the sentiment real quick. Sentiment is still at 70% long. So it doesn't look like people have entered the market, or retail traders haven't really re-enter the market since market open, because it's been 70% for a while now. What we can possibly anticipate here is that a lot of retail traders are waiting for the Fed to speak before they enter the market, which is completely fine. Here we go. As price comes down, it's going to reach a target price point of opening price right here. It's broke right below it. Now that price is below this point, we can start looking for sells, right? We need to close below this point, and then we need to catch the retracement so we can get that wick rejection off one of these structures, and then we can confirm the sell once it actually does close. So it's just a matter of time here. Just got to be a little patient and wait for this to close. This candle here is very big. Just got to wait for it here. Got about 30 seconds left on it. Not taking this specific entry here, but we will follow it. There was a double body right here, Maddie. Your continuation. So if you guys have been following Maddie's continuation entry right here, double body. I'm going to drop below that point. Madhu's asking, did you mark news at 5:30? Let me check the calendar. I didn't see any news here at 5:30. I don't see anything here at 5:30, Madhu, on my calendar. Is it on my FX book? Okay, there was jobless claims. Yeah. Oh no, this is on the 22nd. Yeah, I don't see any news this morning, Madhu, for 5:30. There's nothing. Actually, there was. Sorry, my bad. I scrolled up right now. So it did happen earlier this morning. Okay, so there was news at 5:30. Thanks, Madhu, for that. I didn't see it on Forex Factory, but it was on my FX book. So let me go and mark that up real quick. Thanks for that update right there. So there was news here at 5:30. Thankfully, it's up here. So it's right next to opening price. 5 a.m. New York. See what it was. 5:30 was negative. Okay. Actually, I'll move it down one more right here. All right, cool. Thanks, Madhu, for that. I didn't see that earlier. All right, so price is below opening price. We need a wick rejection off structure here. If price stays below this point on the next candle, if we get a wick rejection off the structure and it continues to drop, this could be a possible sell for a K2SR rejection entry. I need to stay below here though. So you can see how price keeps bouncing around. I need to stay below here within the zone so that we can get a rejection off this point. Otherwise, if we get a rejection off this point, it can't touch the opening price. So as long as price rejects around any of these structures here, we can take the entry, but it just cannot touch the opening price above. So if this candle here closes as a moderate red candle, this can be a possible entry. But as you guys can see, price is kind of just bouncing around. Unfortunately, no entry there because it came back up and touched the opening price here. It's going to be one of the red flags if you guys are not familiar with it. Basically, trades that we avoid is when price is near sessions, near opening price, near news price, candles too big, or if it's ranging. So right here, you can see price came up, touched opening price. This is New York open. So unfortunately, no entry here. And it's just precautionary. I mean, I'll probably hit if it does go, but I'm not going to take that risk. So it looks like price just faked out again around this area. So let me go over here real quick to the clean chart. So if you guys remember earlier, fake out right here on open, there was another fake out when price came above here, it came right back down. Here's another fake out right here. So price is pulling right back into the range, right? So fake out, came back down, fake out, and now it's literally right back into the range. So it's like price is not even going anywhere. This is just a continuation of what's been happening for the past couple months. If you guys remember, this is like clear example, clear proof that price is not moving directional yet. It's still going sideways. The problem with this here is that I expect movement to happen after the Fed speaks at 7. At the moment right now, I feel like the market makers are just messing with people. They're pushing price up and down. You know, the thing with this here is that the range is so big. It's about 1,400 pips. So price has been ranging about 1,400 pips or more. And the thing is, if you're entering these trades and your stop loss is like 200 pips, 300 pips, 500 pips, you're going to get stopped out. It doesn't matter whichever direction you trade, right? So that's why you want to be very careful about entering any trades at this moment. It doesn't seem like a lot of retail traders are getting pulled into the market or getting stopped out because it's been at 70% for a long time now. So the market makers are basically luring in people in both directions. They're trying to find people to enter buys or enter sells. Nobody's falling for the trap right now, right? Because the number is just not changing. If people were falling for the trap, this number would increase or this number would increase. But at the moment, nothing's really happening. So, man, I was really hoping the market would keep moving, but we got to wait until 7. So I think around 7 o'clock, price might start to move a little better because we do have the Fed speaking. At that point, a lot more people are going to speculate in the market. So you're going to have people entering buys, people entering sells because you're going to be predicting or anticipating where price is likely to go. My guess is that everyone's going to likely, well, actually not. That doesn't make sense because if people believe in the recession, they wouldn't be buying, right? But majority of people here keep buying because they keep trying to buy the dip. So, I mean, we'll see. I do think pricing come down though. So from my perspective, I don't see any good news coming out this week. So I see price coming down further and further. But with all this manipulation in the market, you can see a lot of retail traders here are just buying. I mean, it blows my mind how people just buy like that, like blindly, thinking that price is going to keep pushing up. Because just looking at like, you know, from the fundamental side, there's no reason for price to really push up at all. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, technically right here, there's an SR rejection entry for a buy, but I'm just not convinced to take any buys yet. So this was an SR rejection. We have a wick rejection here, moderate green candle, trend meter is green, pivots are green, short-term bias is bullish, but it's too risky for me to take a buy right now because I do expect price to come dumping down at some point. So I have that marked up right there, but I'm not taking it. I just wanted to show you guys that there is an SR rejection entry right there. If you guys did take it, for those of you who are applying it on your own, but not one that I would necessarily take because it does not align with long-term bias. Long-term bias here is for a sell. So we just align our long-term with short-term bias. So unless this here was bullish, then I'm not going to take any of those trades there. And you can see this is exactly why, right? You get all this manipulation here as price bounces around. It's not a good area to be trading, especially if the bias is super strong. So, all right, guys, just a matter of time. Just got to be patient with it. Wait for this to confirm. Once it confirms, then we can look for some more sells here. But the trend meter down here is starting to turn blue. Madhu's asking 3-minute daily would have been a sell after the green momentum. Let's see. Yes, that is correct, Madhu. So yeah, if you guys took the trade over here, this is a counter, 3-minute counter trend daily entry. This would have hit full TP. I should have looked at this. I didn't bother looking at it, but yeah, this right here. Or actually, so this strategy here is kind of, I can't remember what John used to do, but for me personally, I would have looked for a sell here. I don't know if John, is John here? Let's see. John is not here right now, but Yeah, basically the way John would trade is he would counter trend trade. I don't know if he went on only short-term buys here, but looking at the long-term buys, I would have looked for a sell here because the long-term buys was obviously bearish, 70% long. Fundamentals here are down almost 100 points. So I personally would have been looking for a sell here. But sorry, I can't really answer that question for you, Madhu, because John's not here to answer it. But if you're asking me personally, I would have taken the sell here if I was applying the strategy as he specifically applied. But I can't remember if he was applying it on the or if he would do the analysis for the overall bias on the long term. If he did do that, then yeah, it'd be a sell. If not, this would actually be a buy because it's bullish on short term. But I wouldn't have taken it obviously because of the difference. So actually, now that I've seen it right, like in that perspective, Madhu, I actually wouldn't have taken the trade because if this here was bearish and long-term bias is bearish, then yeah, I would have taken it. But since they're opposite, long-term is bearish and this here is bullish, I would have just skipped the trade, like within my analysis. All right, so here's a clean chart. As you guys can see, nothing's happened. Price is right back in the middle. It's from where it was earlier. Faked out a couple times, but realistically, the range just got wider. All right, so thanks, Maddie. The bias is changing back, so it's bouncing between 69 and 70%. So it's literally just going back and forth 1 percentage point. It seems like people either pulling out or they're getting stopped out of their buys. So my next anticipation here is another fake out. I can see price maybe pushing up a little bit, maybe even spiking up and hitting this liquidity. And then once it spikes up and hits the liquidity, then possibly come right back down, back into the range. So that buy that we were looking at earlier, guys, this one right here, it looks like it finally hit TP. Not one I would have taken, obviously, but it did hit TP. So it got really close to hitting stop loss. And then it came up and hit a TP right there for the buy, right? Again, not a trade that I would take, but if you were to take it there, obviously would have played out with it. Risky, but it would have played out. I just don't like trading against such a long-term, such a strong long-term bias. So we're about 7 minutes till the Fed speaks. When the Fed does speak at 7, we can probably expect price to come back down further. It'll probably pull below this area. So this is kind of what I see happening. 7 o'clock is right here. Price will probably get propped up until 7 because they're luring people to enter some buys here. Price will probably get propped up till 7. Once 7 hits, price will probably come right back down because the Fed's going to start talking about inflation rates, interest rates, regulations. There's just a lot of things that they're going to be discussing this whole week as we end we wrap up the month. I'm not sure if GDP came out yet. Let me check. Let me check the news for this week. So I'm just going to show you guys what I think is going to be released. So new home sales, I'm expecting this to be less. So this is going to be negative news. CV consumer confidence, I'm expecting this to be negative too. So basically all of these news tomorrow is going to be negative in my perspective. That's kind of what I see happening on Wednesday. Pending home sales, I'm expecting this to be negative as well. Crude oil inventory is negative too. Final GDP. Okay, so this is what it's building up to. It's building up to Thursday, right? Because Thursday they're going to be releasing final GDP and unemployment claims and final GDP price index. I'm expecting either final GDP and price index to be either neutral. Unemployment claims, I'm expecting this to be negative. So pretty much all week, I'm expecting all this stuff to be negative. The reason why I'm saying that is because if we're going to a recession, unemployment claims are going to go up, right? Because people are getting laid off. So I'm expecting this number to be higher. Same with the pending home sales. With interest rates going up, I'm not expecting people to be buying homes right now. So that's why I'm just using common sense and logic. This news here is going to be negative. what else is here? And then CPI. So CPI flash estimate, core CPI flash estimate. This is all inflation news. Or actually, this is for Euro. But core PCE index right here, personal income, personal spending. This is just going to wrap up the week. But for the most part, I'm expecting everything to be negative. Also here, revised UM consumer sentiment. I also expect it to be negative. So pretty much all week, I'm expecting negative news. So it seems like today they're just propping up price for the bad news to happen. So obviously they need price to go up because they can't just keep dumping price down. And I also see this, I see this as temporary. So we'll see where this goes, but pretty much all news this week, I'm not expecting anything good. Yeah, Brian said, just glad I just closed my house on Friday. Yeah, no, it's going to be tough. It's going to be like, during COVID, we had a huge frenzy of people buying and selling homes for like above value. And that bubble is obviously going to pop because interest rates were so low during COVID because they needed, money to go to circulate. Now the interest rates are super high. So I don't know if you guys, well, actually, I don't know if I showed you guys, but I did show some other people last week. There was like a couple, some data that was released where basically if you compared buying a home during COVID to now, you're either paying more, or you're paying exactly the same because the interest rates are so high now. Houses may be cheaper, but the interest rates are so high that you're basically paying the same amount you would have paid during COVID. So nothing really changed here until, but if the interest rates keep increasing, you're going to be paying technically more now than you would have, even though the house was cheaper. So we'll see. I mean, it doesn't really matter to us, right? If we go into a recession, it doesn't really matter to us as traders because we can still trade regardless. We'll be looking for little inconsistencies in the market, but it doesn't necessarily matter to us because we're not trading long-term. If you're trading long-term, yeah, it's going to affect you heavily. But scalpers like us, short-term traders, it doesn't really affect us too much because we can find ways to win in the market, whether the market is going up or whether the market's going down. So here we go. As price starts to tumble its way all the way back down. Trend meter is turning red. This is exactly what I was waiting for. I'm not looking for any buys here, just waiting for price to come back down and provide us some sell entries. Jason's asking me, hey, bro, do you see this going to 29,000 today? No, hell no. Probably not, Jason. That's a big drop. No, yeah, that's way too far down. The news here isn't heavy. Like, it's not Powell speaking today. If Powell's speaking today, then maybe, but he's not speaking today. To drop to 29,000 is, let me show you. So 29,000 is way down here, right? That is a 5,000 pip drop, Jason. That's way too big of a drop. Yeah, I know it's only 5,000 pips away, but not with what's happening today, right? Because if you look at the news for today, I don't think that's going to happen today. Maybe tomorrow, because Powell is speaking tomorrow. It's just Fed member Collins speaking today, which I don't know. He doesn't really speak very often. Tomorrow, Powell is speaking about 4:30. So yeah, Dejan said if it was COVID, it would drop like 5,000 pips in 5 minutes exactly. So if there was something that was a catalyst to price dropping that much, then yeah, I could see it. But for today, not very much. This is the only news event coming out. It's Fed member Collins speaking. He's probably just going to give an opening statement for the week to come because he's going to announce that, they're going to be releasing all this news coming out this week: inflation, recession, regulation. And then Powell tomorrow is going to actually release the data. So Powell speaks tomorrow pre-market at 4:30. We can probably expect some crazy movements pre-market. And then we have some news coming up right after. Durable goods, durable good orders, HPI, composite 20, Fed member Bullard, consumer. There's a lot of news tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow it might happen, Jason. No, I don't think so. Not today. So here we go. As price starts to continue to range. So nothing's going on. If you guys see here, this is why I keep two separate charts open so that you guys can see the actual market structure, right? It looks like price is actually moving here, but realistically, it's not. It's just been in the same range for the past hour now, I believe. Yeah, over hour. So price has been within this area for about an hour and 12 minutes. I mean, it's a big range, but not a huge range. It's 1,700 or 1,100 pips. So they're just pretty much prepping people up for the Fed to speak soon. All right, so the Fed is now or he should be speaking. I don't know if they're going to be broadcasting it. Let me go to YouTube real quick and see if they're broadcasting it. I'm just going to search up Fed Collins. No, so they are not. Actually, no, they're right here. Okay. So she hasn't started speaking yet, but she's going to start speaking soon. So it says President Collins to share perspectives on Fed's work to support a vibrant, inclusive economy. So yeah, as this is the Federal Reserve of Boston, there's not really too much going on right now. She's going to be discussing, it's just like as you expected. Okay, so she's starting to speak right here. But she's not really going to be talking too much. I mean, so right here, she's going to share her perspectives on Fed's work to support a vibrant, inclusive economy. So with that said, she's going to be talking about a lot of regulation, right? Regulation is not good for the market. So I'm expecting price to come back down. Basically, she's going to be explaining, what they're going to be doing to combat the recession, what types of regulations are going to be set in place, what they're going to be doing. What are they going to do to control inflation, stuff like that. Let me clean up the zones over here. But, I mean, we'll see. She's starting to speak right now. So I'll go back and forth to that. But I'm hoping she says something kind of outlandish to cause price to spike around because it's kind of, nothing's really going on. So I don't really mind if she does say something outlandish to cause price to come below here. Because in order for us to take entries, I need price to be around this area, right? Because the trend meter is not going to turn red if it stays above there. If price stays above this area, trend meter is not going to turn red. If it drops below here, then it will turn red, and we can look for, price to come back up and then continue dropping lower. So here goes, price starts to drop lower. She probably started speaking, or she's going to start speaking soon. There we go. So you can see the trend meter is now turning red. It's exactly what we were anticipating. But here's the thing, you guys want to be careful because this could be another fake out when price comes below this point, which is what we're waiting for. All right, so price is below here. Still technically ranging, but waiting for this to come below. All right. So not really much there. I was hoping it was going to drop lower, but not yet. All right, so perspectives on economy. I was looking at the slide, but it passed. So she's starting to speak now. I mean, personally, I don't really care what she has to say. I just want to see how the market reacts to it, right? Because she could be saying good things, she could be saying bad things, but it doesn't really matter to us because we're trading on the short term. So we want to see how price reacts to what she's saying. So she might be opening up with, good remarks here. People are starting to buy. I mean, realistically, it's back in the range. So even though it might look like price is doing something, realistically, it's not doing anything until it breaks out of this area. So if it breaks above here, then all right, we're doing something. If price is breaking below here, then all right, price is actually doing something. Realistically, it's not doing anything. It's just bouncing between this whole area right here. So not really anything to get excited about until we have some, some sort of direction here. So I'll leave this marked up here so you guys can see how price moved with regard to the Fed. But my guess is that price is going to make its way back down shortly. All right, let's see if there's anything else here for us to look at. Retail sentiment is at 69% long. So like 1% of the buyers pulled out. Looks like they either got stopped out or they pulled out because of the news that's happening right now. Looking over here at the heat map, let's take a look at the heat map real quick. Heat map is pretty much, I mean, it's pretty neutral right now. It's still pretty red, but it's pretty neutral. So red over here, but green over here. Looking over here at the fundamentals for right now, real time is currently 85 points down. It's not below 100 yet, so it's not that strong. Looking over here at the actual stock index. So United Health is pretty much weighing down the entire index right here. It's down 11 points. Travelers down 3 points. Goldman Sachs down 2 points. Johnson Johnson down 1 point. JP Morgan down 1 point. Merck & Co down 1 point. For the buy side over here, Salesforce is up 3 points. Microsoft up 2 points. So basically, if United Health Group wasn't red right here, everything would be pretty neutral. But this is really what's weighing it down at the moment. Back over here to the charts, still nothing going on right here. Price is still bouncing around the range. So I'll keep this up here just for visualization, right? So that you guys can see when it's in range or when it's actually broken below or above it. But right now, all right, price is starting to drop right here. If price stays below this point, or actually even lower, we can look for a possible entry here for a sell, but we need price to actually stay below the opening price here, because if it stays around this area, we can't get that wick rejection without price touching it, right? So we need price to drop lower. It's still too high. Check the zones, make sure the zones are good. Yeah, zones look fine. I'm gonna clean this one up right here. All right, so price is back to opening price. As you guys can see, this is acting as a magnet, right? Whenever price pushes away, it comes right back down. So market open right here at 630, price pushed away, came back down to opening price. Price pushed away, came back down right here, pushed away, and it came back down a fourth time. So it's basically a fourth test right here of the opening price. One right there, one right there, and two right there. Nothing for us to take at the moment. I don't think there's any other news today either. Or let me check my FX book because this is a little more accurate. There's actually news here at 7:30. I don't know why this is not coming up on Forex Factory, but we'll mark it up right here, 7:30. Price is still bouncing around here, opening price and news price. So until price confirms it's below it, we can't really look for any entries at the moment. And I think that's it. That's the only news coming up right now, aside from Colin speaking. All right, perfect. So price is dropping below. This is exactly what we were looking for here. I gotta update this zone over here. All right, so we don't have an actual wick rejection off the structure. It is touching it, but it's not rejecting off it necessarily. I need to push up a little higher, just a little higher where it's not touching opening price, but just enough to reject off the structure right there. Once it does, we can look for a possible entry here if we get a moderate red candle. So I wanted to push up slightly, just slightly. Oh man, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. It might happen on the next one though. So as you guys remember, these SR rejection entries come in bunches. So it's okay if this one doesn't close. But I mean, either way, this candle here is just too big. So it wouldn't matter. All right, so nothing here yet. All right, if we get a moderate red candle here, possible entry. One thing about this though is that price is super overextended though. It did break out of the range, but it is super overextended. So that's something to also keep an eye out for. This price did push up from here. So let's see. Price came down, came up. This is where it started from. It's down about 1,300 pips. So it's a little overextended, not super overextended, but it is a little bit. So you want to be a bit careful here with this. And if this does close as an entry. One thing as well is that there's a huge zone right here now. So I'm gonna have to update this real quick. Like we have a huge zone right here. I don't really like zones like this because they're too big, but I mean, it engulfs the entire thing. So it's still relevant. All right. So we still don't have an entry here. We're looking for the wick rejection up top, which we can have right here possibly. If it does close as a moderate red candle, possible entry there. But as you guys can see, the zone here is huge. It's this whole candle right here with this one as well. So these two basically merged within each other. So price broke out of the range again right here, but it can possibly be another fake out. So that's why you guys have got to be careful with these entries. So there's a fake out right here, price pulled right back into it. There's a fake out right here, price pulled back into it. Fake out right here, price pulled back into it. Price pulled up right here, fake out again. And again, right here, another fake out. So price came down below here, broke and closed below it to lure in some sellers. And then here we go, as it pulls right back into the range. A lot of traps being set up today, guys. So just be careful if you guys are looking to take some trades here and there. Monday and Fridays are the riskier days to trade. So there's not really much of a surprise here why this is happening. Typically Mondays are either really good or they're really bad. So for a lot of people who are FOMOing to trades here, it could be a really bad day for you guys if you guys keep getting caught into these fake outs. Because a lot of people, what they'd like to do is they like to trade support and resistance, right? It's one of the basic ways of trading. When price breaks out of the support, people typically want to just enter a trade in either direction, right? Right here, price breaks below, people enter it for a sell, they get stopped out. Price pushes up here, they enter it for a buy, they get stopped out, etc. Back and forth. Right here, price is literally back into the same range that I drew from this morning. So fake out right here, price has now been within this range for about an hour and 22 minutes. It's a long time to be inside a range. So unfortunately, guys, no entry there again. Trying to see if there's any other entries here that we could have possibly taken. There's a couple of these entries here, Maddie, from like these continuations that I kind of saw. There's one right here. One continuation right here. Kind of looks a little big, but looks like it fits criteria. There's a continuation right there. Yeah, wicked off that other price, right? Let's see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I don't really see anything else. Price is pushing up here. So as it pushes up higher, this might fit Patrick's criteria. So Patrick, I know you look for those V1s over here, or rejects off one of these, K2SR structures. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maddie said it might come up, hit the liquidity, and then come back down. That's basically what I see happening here too. Coming up here, hitting liquidity, faking out, and then coming right back down. So we got all the liquidity sitting up here. I'm looking for another fake out here. I'm like curious to see what she's saying now, because I don't know if she's saying something that's affecting the market. She probably is, because I don't know what else is pushing price around, right? There's no other catalyst pushing price around. There's no other news event. She's the main person who's speaking right now. She's talking about inflation. I can read the news. I can basically read the subtitles right here. She's talking about inflation, talking about the war, talking about the pandemic. talking about labor supply. So she's talking about some big topics right now, which could cause volatility in the market, not necessarily push price around, but it does cause volatility in the market. So price did come up, knock out all this liquidity right here. There we go, it broke right through all of them. Well, let's see if this is another fake out, which is what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating this to be just like this right here. Fake out and return right back below. It's at the London low right now. See if it rejects off. If we get a wick rejection right there, I'm expecting it to come down further. So I'm waiting for this to close. If this closes with a wick rejection, I'm expecting it to come right back down. Pretty strong reversal pattern there. Or if it breaks above, it might test the Asia high right here. So there's the next level right there. The main thing that I'm looking for is a wick rejection off this structure, right? We didn't get the wick rejection off there. But if you get a wick rejection off any of these structures, I'm expecting it to come right back down, or a double body like that right there. So if we get a double body, this will probably be a V1 or a V3 or both. Not one that I would take, but I'm just looking for the reversal to happen here. All variation entries are reversal patterns. So you can see right here, there's a double body. It's a high here with a double body next to it. Bias for overall is going to be a sell. So this may be a reversal pattern, and it might be coming right back down from this point. So we got the clean chart over here, markup chart over here. See how this candle here closes. And this is all speculation, guys. There's no trade here that we're taking. I mean, there's a variation here, but it's not one that I'm taking. We're just speculating to see where price is likely to go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maddie said might have to test the Asia high, which is I'm expecting it too. So this might be a double fake out. It might be a fake out to the top, fake out to the bottom, come back up, retest Asia high, and then come right back down. Yeah, Maddie said just waiting for now. I don't like it when there's too many possibilities in the market. Lower chances of getting it right. Exactly, Maddie. So whenever I trade, guys, I only trade when there's like two scenarios, right? Right here, there's a lot of scenarios. Price can either come back down from where it's currently at, because we do have the reversal pattern here, or price may fake out. It already faked out up here. It might fake out again right here, come back up, retest this area, and come back down. There's like multiple scenarios that can play out here. Not really a good time to mess around the market. So price is up here now. Let's see where it goes from here. All right, she's still talking. Let me see if there's any updates here on CNBC. Little update here. It says Dow drops 100 points on Monday as slumping. Oh, this is the same thing we were looking at earlier. So let's see where we're at. 19 minutes ago, Fed. Okay, so she did say something that was going to affect the market, right? So I mentioned earlier, Collins was going to talk about inflation. It says Fed's Collins cites need for clear and convincing signs that inflation is falling, which it isn't, obviously. With inflation going up and interest rates going up, we're going to a recession. So she did mention something a few minutes ago. Let's see, 19 minutes ago from now. And that's when price started dropping. So about 19 minutes ago right here, she mentioned, inflation. Price came down, swung right back up, and then we'll see what else happens from there. I'm just going to use CNBC for the updates here. Fed Bostic says he doesn't expect a deep, deep pain for the economy. So let's keep updating this here as we go along to see if there's any news updates, because I don't really want to listen to what she has to say. She's going to talk about a lot of stuff there, and it's just going to be in the way of our analysis for the day. So just got to wait for this to play out here. If it creates another zone around this area, then we'll use that as a new zone. But at the moment, I'm expecting it to come back down. So until we get a new low that's established, we have a high here, but we need a low. Once we have that, we can draw a new zone around that area. And then from there, we'll see where it goes. But at the moment, no entries for us to take. There's not even any other zones up here, no K2SR zones. So regardless, we wouldn't have any entries to take above this area anyways. Price is now just ranging between the Asia high and London low. Pretty much back and forth from here. All right, let's see what happens here. Price creates a new range. Or if price comes back down. So my guess here is that if price does come back down, it'll probably pull back into this range here. And it'll just continue. You guys will see if you go back in the past over here, it happens a lot. Price will pull up, fake out, come back down, fake out, come back up, come back down. And then there's just a bunch of fake outs. So as you guys can see right here, it's the same pattern of like what we're seeing here now, right? It'll range, fake out above, fake out below, fake out above, come right back down, push up a little higher, fake out, and then it just keeps coming right back to this area. And you can see that this range over here actually continued for about 2 hours, almost 3 hours before it broke out into another range. So it's the same thing with what I'm seeing right here right now. It's just we're in such a choppy market where it's not really moving directional at all. Typically during like a New York session, you want price to just move very directional, like from 6:30 until 8, and then from there it continues or it reverses. But let me just take this off right here. I want to clean it up a little bit because this is meant to be a clean chart. So I will leave the zone down there, but I'm going to update the high lows, which is right there. And I think that's about it. We have one right here that's been updated as well. But yeah, market opened over here at 6 o'clock or 6:30. I mean, sorry, 6:30. And you can see from 6:30 up until now, not very much of a directional push, right? It was pretty much back and forth for about an hour. Price did push up above here, and then now price is still going sideways. It's basically sideways, breakout due to the news, and continuation sideways. Let's see. Eunice said CNBC just released positive news about US30. Let me check real quick. Thanks for the update, Eunice. So it says Dow erases losses as tech rally helps overcome dollar pressure. All right. So with that said, I'm expecting price to come right back down. Thanks for the update right there, Eunice. So they just updated this right now. Price is at the Asia high. So let's see if the correction back down happens here. If we get another wick rejection off this structure, then it can be a possible sign of reversal. So look at this candle here. Look how this candle closes. It closed right at it. So it didn't necessarily close with the wick rejection off it, but it did close right at it. Previous candle wicked right off it. This one over here closed right on it. This one over here as well, still on it. Yeah, let's see where it goes from here. All right. So we got another double body right here. So if this closes as a double body, this is another reversal pattern, right? Exactly what we saw over here, except it's at the higher level. So this might be the start of a reversal back to the downside. if it closes properly. It's right at the sessions though, so obviously not one I would take, but, and it didn't close. Here we have another one right here pending next to it. And there he goes. Price starts to drop pretty heavily. We just got to wait for it to actually close. If it closes right there, double body rejection. This is a reversal pattern. Price has been pushing up. Overall bias is for a sell. So if we get that double body, I think price is going to come back down. Target price point is going to be the sessions right here. Next target price point is going to be news price down here and opening price. And then next target from there is going to be even lower next sessions. Let's take a look at the sentiment. Sentiment is now still at 70%. So it's bouncing between 69, 70, and 71. Midpoint 70. All right. So there we go with the double body. Target price point is going to be the sessions down here. This price continues to drop lower. If it does continue to drop, I'm not looking to take any trades here yet until the trend meter turns red. So I'm looking for everything to pretty much align, right? Because I don't like taking risky trades, especially at a time like this, because the short-term trend is still bullish. Long-term trend is still very strong for a sell. See the fundamentals real quick. Fundamentals are now pretty flat. Back to 30 points, 30 points in the green. Looking over here at the heat map, stock is trying to change slightly, not a lot, but slightly. Still about the same. Half green, half red. All right, so price is almost down to the target price point, which is going to be the next sessions right here. Next area for that is lower. So price is really just ranging between this Asia high and this London low. Let's see where it's at. Yeah, Jonathan said it's plus it's only Monday. Maddie said it's probably going to go back to the first range we had earlier in the session. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where I'm looking for it to pull down to. As you can see, price is just faked out up above here. And then if it pulls back into this range, it's just going to be exactly where it was earlier. So there he goes. Price hits the session, hit the first price point right there. But it's still a risky area to trade. So I do expect it to come down. We need to wait for it to close below the sessions right here. If it does, then I'm expecting it to drop lower. If not, price is probably just going to continue going sideways from where it's currently at. All right, back into the range. We got news coming up here at 7:30, which is completely fine. Hopefully that will cause price to push somewhere. So let's see their commitment. All right, so they're still discussing right now. CNBC, no updates. Sentiment's down at 69%, back to 70. And it's just bouncing back and forth. It's going between 69 and 71. 70 is a mid-range. Price is just bouncing around this area now. So as you guys can see, it's just going back and forth between these two sessions right here. Watch. Make this real quick. There we go. Price is pulling right back down. So it's pulling right back down to, and this is the news channel right here as well. Mark this up as news. This is 7:30 a.m. US news. checks my FX book real quick. It is the Dallas Manufacturing Index, negative as anticipated. Everything's gonna be negative pretty much this week. Negative. Dijon said my energy options are no longer tanking. I can breathe now. And options market is a super risky market. So I stopped trading them. Yeah, we still mark it up, Maddie. It's not on Forex Factory. We don't just go off Forex Factory. We go off my FX book too. So my FX book is right here. It was at 7:30. It's medium impact news, Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. So we're still looking at both. I mean, it's better to have more than less, right? You still want to have those available just in case. But we do have that marked up right there. See, Dijon said options are why those big business CEOs are jumping off the high rises. I know, that's crazy. If you guys saw that, what happened with like the Bed Bath and Beyond CEO. Man, I don't know, that's crazy. That he really didn't want to go to jail. Actually, it's not just that. He probably had so much information he was withholding. It's crazy. Yeah, Dijon said Bed Bath and Beyond should be bankrupt by now. I mean, they should have been bankrupt a long time ago. I thought they closed down all shops, but I guess they're still trying to push or recover. Jason said, bro, I lost so much money trading options. I had to go to the local pantry. Yeah, no, I don't trade options at all. I traded options before, like a long time ago when I first started trading. I used to trade stocks and options. That's how I started trading. And I started to realize how risky options are, because the way that people trade options is not necessarily how it's meant to be traded, right? Options are meant to be as a hedge. So a hedge against your directional position. So a lot of people trade options like they're like normal, like they're stocks, right? Like normally, yeah, there's ways to make a lot of money. There's ways to lose a lot of money, but most people that trade options, it's all gambling. Yeah, exactly. Jason said pure gambling. And John said, yeah, then people use margin on it. Exactly. If you're using that much money on an asset, you might as well just trade the actual stock. I don't understand why people would even go to the options if you start to use like, margin and stuff. Because with options, you can't just pull out early. I mean, you can in some instances if it's like really far in the money, but most of the time it's gonna be right at the money. You can't pull out for profit. You gotta wait for it to actually expire. All right, so price is pulling right back down. It's doing exactly what we anticipated. So Maddie, right here back into the lower range. That's why I wanted to leave this here, because price just faked out right here. Price pushed up, it faked out, consolidated a bit, and it pulled right back down into this area like it didn't go anywhere. Exactly. A pilot said, I hate option. Forex pilot Deswell said, I hate options, lost a lot of money. Exactly. Maddie said, if it pulls back in and we get a red candle rejection off the top range, it can drop. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. So if we get that, I'm looking for the trend meter here to turn red for an SR rejection entry. I'm anticipating at least one entry today for an SR rejection, because there's so many zones around this area. If price just ends up ranging around this area here, we can probably get one. So I'll just keep an eye out for it here. Also keep an eye out for the trend meter down there for it to turn red. I think once it drops below this area, like below here, it'll start to turn blue, if not turn right to red. But here we go, as price starts to drop right back below. Yeah, Maddie said might test London, then drop right back down. It's kind of what I'm expecting too. I mean, either way, I'm looking at the trend meter. That's gonna be my main catalyst right there. When the trend meter turns red, that's where we can possibly look for an entry. This would have been a good entry right here too, Maddie. It's right at news price though. I didn't even notice this one early at 706. I think you mentioned it, right? 706. It was right at opening price though. I was just looking back to it. All right, so if the trend meter here turns red, we have a wick rejection here. So if the trend meter turned red on this candle and we have a moderate red candle, this will be an entry for an SR rejection. Trend meter hasn't turned red yet, so I'm looking for it, waiting for it to change. It just hasn't changed just yet. It's got to be really patient discipline right now, guys. Because I know it's really easy to FOMO into these trades because you're expecting it to drop even further, but it's Monday. So expect the worst to happen to the market because it is Monday and you have a whole week ahead of you. So don't worry about forcing any trades today. If you don't get anything today, we'll get something tomorrow. If not tomorrow, we'll get something on Wednesday, not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So main thing I can tell you guys is be disciplined and to be patient because you can see right here, it's just faking out. It's coming right back up. So price came back below into the range, faked out, came back up. It's probably going to fake out again up here and then come right back down. So just look out for it. There we go to test the London open or London low. See if it's finally ready to make its way back down. But this is my main area here. So I'm not really looking for trades until it comes below this point. Once it comes below this point, then we can start looking for sells. Because I think when price is below this point, we can start looking for the trend meter to turn red. Right now, it's still green. Yeah, Maddie said I want it below pivots, then below price for sells. Yeah, open price. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. I mean, ideally, yeah, price would be better down here. But just for the time being, I think if price starts to cross around this area over here, we can possibly get, like one initial entry for exactly catching the drop. So if price stabilizes below this point right here, then we can probably expect it to drop even further to opening price down there. Here's the clean chart, or what we're calling the clean chart. Going back into that range. See if there's anything else here. All right, so looking at, there's not really much to look at here. Just trying to figure if there's something else going on, but there's not really much. All right, Maddie said pivots 1 and 2 are crossing. It's a good sign there, indicating a swing back to the downside. New high there, new low here. See, it looks like some of you guys here did make some profits this morning. So a lot of you guys are just trading off my analysis over here. Dell over here locked in a total profit of 728. Nice work, Dell. He caught the sell earlier at about 6:30 this morning. Kenny as well, locked in some sells earlier, locked in a total of 262 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. And then Dell again over here locked in a couple more, up 1,398. Nice work, Dell. Kenny over here again, take another profit, 283 for the day. And then one more from Kenny right here, up 442. So nice work, guys. A lot of you guys here just listening to my analysis and taking trades, perfectly fine. Scotty over here as well, currently up 1,589. Nice work, Scotty. I haven't taken anything myself, guys, so don't worry. You guys are not missing out on anything. These are just speculative trades that people are taking off my analysis, or if they saw something on the chart and they locked in some good profits, but I haven't taken anything myself. Valentine over here as well, currently at 1,437 for the day. Nice work, Valentine. So nice work, guys. If you guys have problems to post up, feel free to post them up. But great work, Valentine, Scotty, Kenny, and Dell, for just taking your own trades off the analysis and lock in some pretty solid profits. So not bad at all, guys. Not bad for a Monday, I'd say. Price is now dropping below here. We're still looking for the trend meter to turn red. So this is exactly where I wanted price to be. I wanted price to be below here. However, we need the trend meter to actually be red. If the trend meter does turn red and this closes as a moderate red candle, this can be a possible entry for a sell using the K2 SR rejection scalp. If we don't have a red trend meter, we can't take the trade yet. So that's the main thing that we're looking for. Red trend meter and moderate red candle. We have both of those there. We can take the trade. If not, just gotta wait. All right, so we got some zones here that are either, oh, they're fine. So I'm fine with price kind of ranging around this area because the more that it ranges, the more likely that the trend meter down here is going to turn to red. So in order for us to get an entry here, we need this to close pretty moderate. So I need this to push up a little bit, get a wick rejection, and I need the trend meter down here to turn red. There's no wick rejection yet. Yeah. Patrick said I have news price marked up right around here, 229,535. 29,535. Which news event do you have marked up right there, Patrick? Did you label like what it was from? Is it from the FOMC? Because it might be. If it's from the FOMC, that one's kind of like not really relevant because I mean they didn't really announce anything, right? But I don't see anything. FOMC was here at 7 o'clock, I believe, right? So it was actually. No, you're right. Or you're a little higher. It was like right here at 29,533. Patrick. Yeah, typically we mark up news, but the thing with the Fed is that she didn't start speaking exactly at 7:30. So I don't necessarily like would consider that like a strong news price, right? Because it's just a random price point. So you can take that off if you want. I don't think it's necessary right now specifically. But you are right. That was the Fed. Yeah, because I just don't want people to get mixed up because I know she got on like a little bit after. She was supposed to get on at 7. She started at like 7:10, and then this is where price started coming down like around 7:00 something. Whenever the news event was released for CNBC. All right, a little update here from CNBC. It says consumer discretionary tech sectors lead support to the market or lend support to the market. I don't think there's anything else here that's been updated. Pretty neutral. Wharton Siegel says Jerome Powell owes the American people an apology for poor Fed policy. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of manipulation in the market because, you know, the Fed policy is just, it's a joke, right? Because whenever Powell speaks, market goes crazy, it goes crazy up. And then now it's going crazy down because we're going into a recession. So yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Let's check the sentiment real quick, see if it's changed at all. Sentiment is currently same thing, 70% long. Fundamentals here, still pretty much down the middle. It's at neutral. Heat map over here is pretty much neutral as well. It's half red, half green. Yeah, so there's like literally nothing going on right now, guys. It's getting close to 8, unfortunately, like very unfortunately, because I was expecting at least one trade here today. But the market just isn't moving. You can see right here from this point, price just fakes out. It came back into this area, faked out, came back above, faked out. Just a bunch of fake outs. Just one thing to keep in mind, guys, that it is Monday. So if anything, just be patient. Or, you know, maybe we might get something here before 8. Price is still it's trying to come down at this point. If we get a sell signal here, great. I'm looking for the trend meter here to change. That's the main thing that I'm looking for. The trend meter still hasn't changed in the past 30 minutes or so. So I'm really looking for this to change. All right, we got a sell signal here. We have a wick rejection off the structure. We just need the trend meter down here to turn. And then again, right here, it's another BS. All right, so I'm keeping an eye out on the trend meter down here. We have about 30 seconds left on this candle here. Doesn't look like it's going to close. So these are this is more of a riskier entry because we don't have a sell signal and we also don't have the trend meter red. So we're looking for two main things here, or three big things. We're looking for a moderate red candle, sell signal, and red trend meter. So basically all three in this one candle here, which doesn't look like it's going to close. So nothing there. We have another pending sell signal here. We have the wick rejection off structure. So we need a sell signal, moderate red candle, and red trend meter down here. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the trend meter. That's going to be one of the main things for me to look at. If it closes a little lower down here, then we have a better possibility of it changing. But at the moment, it looks like price is just going to keep ranging around this area. 7:47 right now. We got about 13 minutes till 8. Maddie said completely missed the continuation here. Yeah, that was one right there, Maddie. Would have been okay. It was right next to sessions, but it didn't touch it. So would have been, one of the possible entries there. Okay, so let's see if this closes with a trend meter. Nope. All right, the trend meter is turning blue. So it's starting to look in our favor. However, it's not there yet. So we need price to come up, test this area, provide a wick rejection. Then we can look for a possible entry. So we need to push up a little higher. If not, that's fine. We can find one down here. Trend meter is now red. Okay. All right, cool. So price is down this point. We need price to stay below here. I need it to retrace up. Once it retraces up, we can get a wick rejection off the structure. We just can't have price too low because price is so close to news price down here, 530 news price. Where was the, there was news at 7, Maddie? Let me check. I might have missed it. Oh, the Fed. Okay, yeah. So that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning earlier. I don't think I'm going to consider that like a news price because it didn't really affect it at that specific time. Man, it's too close. So whack. It's too close to news price down here. I was going to look for an entry here, but it's just too close. Let's see if price swings up. And we don't have the wick rejection either. So we do have the wick rejection now. If this closes as a moderate red candle, it can't be anywhere lower than this point. If it closes lower than this point, then for sure no entry. And it doesn't even look like it's going to close down there. Yes, no entry off that right there. I mean, obviously no entry. Trend meter is back to blue. So what I could kind of see here for a possible entry is price can swing up real quick, swing up, spike up, hit this area for a wick rejection, and then come back down. If that happens, then we can look for possible entries. But right now, definitely does not look like anything at the moment. But that's what I'm kind of seeing right here. If it does a quick spike up real quick, just go and touch this area right here for the rejection. And then it comes right back down for a sell or for a red candle, then we can possibly take that. But unless that happens, no entry. So I need to close like somewhere like this. Marco said double body. There's a double body here, but it wouldn't fit the criteria. I mean, if you're looking for a buy here, then yeah, it would. It would be considered a V a V1 entry. But since we're looking for sells here, wouldn't have taken that right there, Marco. So for the variation V1, we need the overall bias for a buy. Overall bias for today is a sell because of long-term direction. So long-term direction here is still a sell, 69% long. Fundamentals here aren't very strong, so it's a sell bias, but it's not super strong. It's just a sell bias. Jean said took a sell at 7:45. Candle was shaking in his boots, so he entered right here. Nice, solid. Yeah, no, solid entry right there. Maddie said he's anticipating a push up. Yeah, I mean, either or. I'm looking for a wick rejection either off this structure right here or off this structure right here. One or the other, it's fine. I just need to get a wick rejection off one of these structures. Once we can get one, we just need to look for a moderate red candle. If we get that, possible entry. And there's a continuation right here too, Maddie. I know you missed it. Maddie said, didn't want to get caught in the continuation. Exactly. Jean said jumped in and was like, damn, like that candle before was big. Yeah, the candle you entered right here, Dijon, is pretty huge. I mean, I'm glad it played out for you, but yeah, super risky because the candle's super big. Typically it retraces, but good thing it didn't for that one. All right, so the good thing here, guys, is that the trend meter is still red. That's the main thing that we're really concerned about here because we do have a sell momentum, and we just don't want this to stay red. You can see here it's turning blue, which is completely fine because if price comes up and rejects off this point and then comes right back down, then it's still going to fit the criteria. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said pivots are slowly crossing. So as price continues to move along, the pivots here are going to cross over red over green. And then from there, we can possibly have a confirmation of a swing in trend. Yeah, the trend's starting to stabilize a little bit. So I'm waiting for it to either drop below here so we get the wick rejection off this point, or if it wants to retrace, that's cool too. It's just a matter of waiting for this here. So back over here to the clean chart, as you guys can see, it's right back into the range. It's like price didn't go anywhere, right? So as you guys can see, a lot of these fake outs happen, and it's good. It's a good thing that we have this marked up here so that you guys don't fall for these traps. Price has been trapping people all day. Price dropped below here, pushed up, but right back into the zone, faked out right here, pulled back below, faked out right here, pulled back over here, and this probably convinced a lot of people that price was going to go up, but it really was just a huge fake out. Price came out of the zone over here. It just went sideways for a while and it pulled right back into this area. So it's like nothing ever happened, right? It's like market opened here at 6:30 and it's just right back at to where it was. But clearly no direction here. Here we go, as price pushes up. This is fine if price does stay above here. I just want it to stay below the pivots though, because this is going to allow for the price to consolidate and allow for this to switch over. So you can see here the green pivot's still over the red. If the price stays below this point, then this will cross over and it'll confirm the downtrend. So still a zone right there. All right, this is fine. I just wanted to stay below the pivot. That's the main thing that I'm looking for. So this is actually a good area where price can and should be. So right here, we do have the wick rejection. We just need a moderate red candle and the trend meter to turn red. Yeah, Maddie said it might reverse here. Yeah, it's kind of what I see happening right here too, Maddie. We just got to make sure there's no buy signal there. So we need a moderate red candle. And this would actually fit under your continuation too, Maddie. But I'm gonna wait for, I'm not taking that continuation. I'm gonna wait for it because obviously, you know, price is not really in a stabilized area right here. Yeah, and Maddie said it's also wicking off the range right here. Top range. So I'm looking for a moderate red candle and a trend meter down here to confirm red. Doesn't look like we're getting it off this candle here, possibly the next one. All right, we need price to push up a little bit, reject off the structure here. A little higher. All right, perfect. So we have the wick rejection off the structure. We need a moderate red candle. If this closes moderate, we might get the trend meter here to change. So 1 second. Yeah, I keep thinking I need to sneeze, so I was gonna mute myself, but it went away. All right, so we're looking for a moderate red candle right here. We don't have it yet. Moderate red candle and a trend meter down below to be red. We got about 10 seconds left on this candle here. No, it's not closing. All right, another attempt right here. Let's see. We need to push up a little bit. There we go. We got the wick rejection now. As long as it comes back down, moderate red candle. I'll leave the entry right here just in case. So we got the wick rejection set up, looking for a moderate red candle, and the trend meter down here turned red, which it should be. Looks like volatility's died down a bit. It's still within the range over here on the clean time frame, or a clean, I guess, clean markup over here. Not much going on here. Yeah, Maddie said it's too close to 8. He doesn't like it. All right, here we go with another attempt. At this point, man, this market sucks. Well, today sucks in general. I think this whole week is going to pick up. It's just today's like not really any direction at all. Price has been going sideways. So I marked up basically price from open. So market opened right here at 6:30. Price just went back and forth for like a good hour. It had this huge spike right here, back into consolidation, spike down, and then back into consolidation. So there's like no direction today at all. We were hoping that price was going to have some direction now that we're entering the fall season. But as you can see from today, no directional at all. Tomorrow, I think market's going to pick up a little more. The reason for that is because we do have more news tomorrow. We have pre-market news, core durable goods, HPI, S&P Composite 20. But the big things for tomorrow is that Powell is speaking pre-market at 4:30, and then we have Fed Chair Bullard speaking as well. And then we have more news tomorrow as well. We have a lot of news tomorrow, actually. We got news from 4:30 until 7 tomorrow. So I think this is just a little warm up in the market. There's not really much going on today because a lot of people are preparing for the bigger moves that are going to happen tomorrow, which is perfectly fine. The main thing here and the main key is that you guys are not losing any trades, right? If you guys didn't FOMO into any trades today and you didn't lose anything, that's completely fine. I'd rather have a 0 day than have a losing day and then have to climb out of that hole into the week, right? I'd rather go into this week with nothing and tomorrow have the opportunity to make profit rather than take a loss here and then have to claw your way back tomorrow and then finally make profit on a Wednesday because, you know, the market just isn't really moving how we would expect it to. Looking at the range from today too, the market didn't really move too much. So market opened here at 6:30. We'll count the range. So it moved a total of 2,200 pips for the day, for the entire day. This is very little for fall market, right? Typically, fall market will move like 3,000 to 5,000 pips, depending on like what type of news is going on, especially with the news this week, because we did have the Fed speak today. You'd expect it to move a bit more, but the range for today is not very much. It moved about 2,000 pips. So here we go as price breaks out of the range again. I think this would be a key area to just look out for because price will continue to break out of it, fake out, break out of it, fake out, come back above, fake out, pull back into it, and then right here, another fake out before it comes right back down, right? So whenever you look at whenever price breaks out of it, typically there's a continuation. So like if you're looking for a non-fake out move, you're looking for something like this where price breaks out of it, possible retest, and continuation. That's the move that you're looking for. For this right here, price attempted to do that, broke out above it, retested right here, and pushed above, but it failed to go above higher. It just faked out right there, and then pulled right back into the zone. So before we wrap this up for the day, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm going to look at the overall bias. I'm going to try to hang out for a little longer to see if I can catch anything here. But for the most part, there just isn't anything going on. There's nothing for you to take right now. Overall bias, retail sentiment is currently 70% long. It's been 70% all day today. I mean, it's changed between 69 and 71, but that's like 1 percentage point, right? You're expecting more during New York session because this is the active session for it. There hasn't been too much going on here. It's still at 70% long. Looking over here at the fundamentals, it's still down, or it's down 45 points. So this hasn't changed at all. It's been pretty neutral all day today. Looking over here at the heat map is pretty much even as well. So heat map is loading up. Nothing going on over here with the heat map. Half red, half green. So there just isn't anything for us to take here. So as you guys can see, you don't really want to force anything at this moment because long-term bias is indicating a sell, but price has just been faking out to the top. So I think they're just propping price up, luring some more buyers until they don't price down eventually. I don't think there's any other news for today. Yeah, because Fed member Collins is done, or she's still speaking actually. Let me see. Yeah, they're still speaking, but they're not really announcing anything. They're just having a discussion. And I think they're now done. And that's it. So Collins is done speaking. Other than that, I think the market might just be a little flat for a bit until it comes back down, but we just don't have anything down here right now. It's yeah, Kenny said, I feel the shift in the force. Exactly. Yep. Patrick said Masters speaks just before market close. So what I expect here is eventually I think price will come down a bit. It might not come crashing down, but I think it'll come down a bit because like Patrick did say, Fed Masters speaks, or let's see. Yeah, Fed member Masters speaks at 1 o'clock p.m. Market's going to close at about 1:30. So right before market close, he's going to give his remarks for tomorrow. I think Masters actually can give his remarks for the rest of the week. So at the end of the day, he's going to talk about what's going to be discussed this entire week, all the inflation news, recession news, Powell speaking tomorrow. You know, Powell speaking really early tomorrow, 4:30 a.m. That's super early. That's basically 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. So, I mean, we'll see. But for the most part, price is still pushing up right here. I'm not really looking to take any buys. There's a couple buys here. Let me see if there's anything that. So let me just skim through real quick and I'll see if there's any buys here that we could have possibly taken, but we skipped due to the fact that we had an overall bias. So there's nothing here. Nothing here. There's actually no entries here. There's a sell momentum here, so we couldn't take this buy here. Sell momentum here too. Couldn't have taken this buy here. This right here, trend meter is blue, so we couldn't have taken that. This candle here was a little big. Yeah, it's too big. So regardless as to what bias we were using, there is no entries here for either a buy or a sell. Price is just ranging too heavily, and there was nothing for us to take. This candle was too big. Yeah, not really. There's nothing here for us to take today. All right, so price is swinging back down. All right, I'll sit tight with you guys for a little longer. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'll hang out for a little bit longer here. It's 8:05 right now. So, I mean, it's about time for me to log off, but see if there's anything else here. as we continue. Yeah, Maddie said back at range at 730, broke out and faked out. Yeah, exactly. So here we go again, guys. So here's the same range that I drew earlier this morning. Price shot up right here, faked out, and it came right back into the range from this morning. So as you guys can see, nothing's really going on. It's just going back and forth. It's just a lot of market manipulation going on at the moment. So let's see this right here. In order for us to have an entry at this point, price needs to close within this area so that we can get a wick rejection within the structure. However, the problem with this here is that we have news price right there. So the lowest that we can get into would be this point right here. If it goes too low, it's too close to news price. So this would be the lowest area that we can make entry, which is like virtually impossible at this point. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap this up for the day. There's nothing going on. We can't even take any sells down here because news price is literally right here with opening price. But this would be the target price point. So if price continues to drop, this is going to be the target price point for price to reach. Next target price point is going to be the Asia low right here. But, just like what Peter said in the chat, it's not worth the risk. Just keep in mind, I know a lot of you guys are getting FOMO right now. I'm getting FOMO myself. And that's the reason why I know you guys are probably getting FOMO. But you just keep in mind that today is Monday. We have a whole week ahead of us. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And those days have a lot of heavier news events going on, causing price to really push around. Today, there's no news events going on other than the Fed speaking earlier. But she talked about stuff that was already anticipated. We already knew she was going to talk about the recession, inflation, and regulation. So other than that, you can see prices just back into this range. Yeah, I know, Maddie. You definitely want to take it easy for yourself too. You want to go into your birthday weekend in a bad mood. So just take it easy, take it day by day, and the trades will happen. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. Unfortunately, no entries for us to take. Just a reminder, we are having our mentoring session later today. If you guys can't make it today and you guys want to request that we move it to another day, just let me know. Pop into the chat, let me know. Otherwise, we'll be having it today at 2 p.m. I'll give an update in the chat as well as we get closer to that time. But for the most part, we're going to go through with it. I don't know if there's any questions, so just come through with your questions and I can help you with whatever you guys need help with. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys back here in about 6 hours at 2 p.m. as we kick off the mentoring session. Other than that, we're going to wrap it up for now, and I'll see you guys later today.